All right, I think we're live. Tanya, good morning, Tanya.
Good morning and happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays. Thank you so much for agreeing to join me on Facebook Live this morning. Uh,
Absolutely.
it usually takes a few minutes for people to know that we're going live. They kind of get a notification. And I am excited that you came to join me for this, festive holiday season and just talking to people and getting the word out there about what we're doing. And Tanya Santiago, where are you from? Tell me where you're from.
I am from Montana, actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
That one threw me for a loop.
yeah, it throws most people for a loop, but I am coming to you live from Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. All right. And so can we share? I think we've put it out there on a post, but you are a lupus warrior.
I am. I
And
am.
when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
so,
living with
so that's some time of being a lupus warrior. I'm sure you've learned a lot of tricks and a lot of things to help manage and maybe the hard way learning of some things. In a nutshell, could you kind of explain to us just, how has lupus impacted your life?
um it's
Big
changed.
question. I know that's a big question.
Question, but it's a good one. Um It's changed it in a lot of ways. You'll see my Grinch fingers, everybody, but it's changed it in a lot of ways. When I was diagnosed, I was only 18. So at that time, I didn't really have it's basically you're diagnosed. This is your diagnosis. Go ahead. Here's the medication you take and live your life type of thing. And so I didn't really, I mean, I knew what lupus was and I did my own research, but I didn't really understand how it would impact me as a person and my life in an everyday situation. And so I did learn a lot of things the hard way. I learned, you know, not every physician is the same, even if they have the same title. So you have to be your own advocate. Um, you have to learn it's okay to fire a doctor. I mean, it's okay to say, you know what, this isn't the right fit for me. And I need to keep searching until I find the right one, and understand more. You learn to understand more about your own body. So a lot of times I like people people say you have lupus, and I like to say I live with lupus. Um, there's a Because it's a completely different thing. When I started telling myself I'm someone who lives with lupus, it changed the whole course of my journey with lupus. Because when you just say, I have lupus, it's just something that's there and it's kind of put over on the shelf, and you still go about your normal day, trying, at least me, trying to be quote unquote normal, like everybody else, when you're not, right? Your body's just different. And so for me, when I changed my outlook due to a lot of situations, I mean, I'm sure many other lupus survivors have dealt with life threatening issues, which I have on multiple occasions. And surviving um, a lot of those made me change the way I look at my life. And when I did that, it changed everything for me. So I started saying I'm someone who lives with lupus, um, because when you live with it, then it's ingrained in your everyday life. And then you realize, it changes your lifestyle. You really have to look at it as, changing my lifestyle. Just like, if you say I have a boyfriend versus I'm married and I'm living with my husband, two completely different scenarios, completely changes your life. And so once I did that, I was able to really focus more on what I need, what my body needs, what I need from a physician, what I need from relationships, and more importantly, what I need to give myself.
Wow, you just covered a whole lot. And so let's just recap really quick. So, you know, being a lupus patient for years now, you've learned a lot. And it's about listening to your body and finding the right people to help you along the way. Because it's not an easy journey. And, I'm just recapping everything you said. And, patients out there that are listening to us, just looking for an uplifting message, a special message. Maybe someone out there needed to hear this morning, that if you feel your physician isn't helping you, it's okay to figure out and find out who can. And, I think that's one of the things that the Lupus Foundation actually provides for patients. The Lupus Foundation of Greater Ohio chapter, we have 12 patient navigators throughout the state of Ohio that we've trained. Generally, they volunteer a lot of their time, and it's about helping patients, getting in touch with them and letting them know just other ways to think, and you would be a perfect person to help out in the patient navigator program. But it's something that, if you feel there's something not working with you and your physician, the question is why, and have that conversation with them. And so that's a big thing to take away, just, noticing that, you've traveled a lot. So that kind of helped you kind of figure out, well, something's different over in this area, because I know you were in Florida for a little bit. You grew up in Montana, Cleveland, and stuff of that nature. And so I think that's something that you learned on your own, right?
Yeah.
And then I have to hit upon it because a lot of people don't know what lupus is and how debilitating it can be. And you had said that lupus was catastrophic for you. You almost passed, several times. And I don't think people realize that impact. Sitting in front of you, talking with you, you're beautiful. You would never know you've ever had to fight for your life. And I don't think people realize how serious lupus can be. Not that I want to focus too much on, this was meaning to be uplifted, but I think it's important for you to share with people, how do you get past something like that?
Absolutely. It is hard. And I think it's especially hard for people living with lupus, because it's an autoimmune disease where your body's fighting against itself. And so not necessarily does it show all the time physically, right? You might feel it physically. You definitely feel it physically. But in saying that, a lot of times people look at you and think, there's nothing, if you were to just see me, you wouldn't know. There's nothing wrong with you. And it is a daily struggle and a daily fight. And sometimes it just comes out of nowhere. But I've dealt with severe medical issues to the point that I've been hospitalized in the ICU for months. I didn't even recognize my own husband. I couldn't speak. I couldn't walk. I had to learn how to do all of that all over again. My husband had to make me fall in love with him for a second time. And it was very traumatic. And, I'm not going to say there weren't times that I got down, and it's okay to say, today I'm just having a bad day. That's okay. But the important thing is just to keep moving forward and just, have gratitude for what you've overcome. And I think that was a big thing for me. So many times personally, when my struggle was, looking back, what could I have done different? And I have to focus on what I can control, and I can control certain things about, what I put in my body, how I live my lifestyle, and all of that, and most importantly, my mindset, what I think about, who I surround myself with, what I feed my mind. And a lot of times there's not enough emphasis put on that, because that has a huge impact on your physical being. And that's what helped me get through it, is changing my perspective.
So I know our chat was about your message of gratitude, but again, you said so much stuff, so many things that you're just mentioning is so impactful, and we could dig deeper into it. You mentioned your husband just kind of being your number one fan there by your side, and definitely struggles and triumphs there, which is a beautiful story. We just put out the latest issue of the Lupus magazine. We put together a chapter magazine. I'm not sure if you checked it out, but you would have been a perfect person to interview, and I wish we could have done that, but at least we can sit together and talk today. If I don't know if you've checked it out, we emailed it out to everyone. You can view it online. But I would love to get you in there maybe for another issue, talking to you and your husband about how to manage with lupus.
Yeah.
So, okay, I got super excited when we went live that I forgot a couple things that we wanted to talk about for the holidays here.
Yeah.
So, just to go back, we have Happy Holidays, this Grinchy theme going on. And so, I noticed you took off your gloves, and I'm sorry that I jumped the gun there. But talking with you, Tanya, we've had some fun. I don't have gloves on, but I wore the hat.
It's light up once in a while. They're kind of finicky.
That's okay, but it's super fun. So we went with this Grinch theme because, not everything is always rainbows and sunshines. Things can be difficult, but we're here to share a message of gratitude for the holiday season, your message of gratitude for the holiday season. And I really appreciate you sharing your story. I should just mention we have so many people jumping in and commenting here for us. And looks like our chapter president saying good morning and so excited. And someone loves our Grinch holiday theme, so happy holidays. And someone's already checking out your gloves.
I know. I could get them to light up for you guys here.
They lit up before, but of course they're not going to do it now.
Oh, there we go.
There they go. Happy holidays. And you had mentioned before that Renaud's is actually something that affects you. And this was kind of a gag gift that someone gave you.
Yeah, actually, Renaud's was my first symptom with lupus, and that's what made me go to the doctor initially. But I don't know. Some people might not know what that is, but it's basically where your blood vessels overreact to the cold, and then they completely constrict, and so then your fingers or toes can lose circulation. So my hands and feet are always cold. And my aunt actually got me these for Christmas last year as a funny gift, because my family calls me the Grinch. So, not because I'm mean or I don't like the holidays, but because of my smile. So ever since I was little, because I have big smile.
You have a beautiful big smile.
They've always called me. So it's just kind of been a family thing, and I've come to embrace it.
Well, that is hilarious. Thank you for sharing that for sure. So I want to just give a couple more shout outs here. Rachel Mara, a fellow lupus warrior out there, saying good morning to us, and thanks for joining and watching. And we want to say hello, Dion. Good morning, lupus warrior. Hashtag beat lupus. Thanks for watching with us. Everyone loves your gloves.
Oh.
And I've got a gag gift gloves from my Renaud's job. So everything, someone always shares something similar. So that's why it's great for you to share all your stories this morning. You never know who you're going to connect with, you know?
And you have to make, light of the situation too. You have to, embrace, like I said, you have to learn to live with it and ingrain it in every part of your life. And then it just becomes a part of you. And then you can move forward a lot easier, I believe.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to laugh at things because we can't control it all, So, okay. So thank you for sharing your gloves. We have a holiday theme here. And I guess my second question I wanted to ask you is, do you have any hopes for the new year? We're all trying to get past 2020. But personally for you, what are your hopes for this new year coming up?
Sure. Personally, for me, my hopes are just to, I have a lot, have a vision board and everything, but my hopes are just to continue to grow as a person, mentally, to continue to grow professionally. I have some professional goals that I want to meet. And this year, I know it's been a rough year for a lot of people. For me, and my family, we chose to take a different spin on it and look at it from the standpoint of gratitude, and embrace stuff. And it's actually helped us in terms of this year's been actually, other than being stuck at home like everybody else, it's actually been a really good year. I mean, I went into it looking, thinking, oh, we're stuck at home. And then I realized, you know what? I'm super grateful because I get this extra time that I get to spend with my husband that I wouldn't have had, or I get this extra time to spend on me that I wouldn't have had. And so I've made realizations in 2020 of goals that I want to hit in 2021 that I never would have realized had everything just been the normal go with the flow, because you kind of get stuck in a rut. And so I look looked at it as a gift. But for 2021 specifically, my husband and I are in the process of adoption. So hopefully 2021
Congratulations. Yeah.
will bring a little addition to our family. And like I said, continue to grow mentally, professionally. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and I have been for 15 years. But I want to progress that. That's one thing that I realized. So I want to help be able to touch a lot more lives than just the lives that I'm able to physically touch. And I think I can do that by teaching. So I'm going to move more into the professorship role. Moving
That's awesome.
21.
You know, so many things are just coming to my mind. You know, we've always wanted to do like this lupus range of motion exercise with people and just teaching them how to move, because it's so important that we keep moving. So I might have to hit you up for some ideas of, you know, tips that we want to do. Because sometimes, especially now, we sit behind the computer, we don't get up and move, we're not just being active, and that could take a toll on joints stiffening up and just, you know, so that's definitely something I want to talk to you more about. Thank you for sharing that. So we'll see. Maybe there can be another niche we could do for something to get active and start moving again. Not talking about running marathons or anything like that, but range of motion exercises would be great to do with lupus patients. So, okay, I heard it. You know, this 2020 has been a year of learning, growth. You know, we kind of are coming out of this cocoon that we've learned so much in, and we're going to emerge new people. And funny that I chose the word cocoon, but, you know, a lot of people choose butterflies to be that symbol of hope for patients. And so we've all been hibernating for a year. And so your message of gratitude is we're all going to open up as different people. You know, we've all learned something from this. And if you could take away the positive and focus in on the good that came out of our hibernation or cocoon, we can emerge something new and beautiful. That's really the message I just took from you, is just, you know, taking the time and realizing the beauty that came from what maybe could be looked at as not so great, but emerging and being something new and beautiful, like a butterfly.
Yeah, and I think if you look at it with gratitude and be specific about it. So don't just say, you know, I'm grateful. For instance, I'm grateful for my husband. I can, you know, if I say, I am so grateful for my husband when he comes home and I get that hug and I get to just, you know, I smell his cologne and it brings back memories or things like that. And that makes your gratitude sink in a lot deeper. Or I'm grateful for my dog, or instead of saying that, I'm grateful for his big, huge underbite that's so cute, even though
that makes him him. It's him.
Makes him
who
just
he is.
Much more special. And that makes, when I do that, I feel the gratitude really ingrained into me a lot more than just saying I'm grateful for my dog or I'm grateful for my husband. And so I think that's huge. And I think you hit it right, the nail right on the head. I think if you allow it to, anything that happens, whether it was everything that's gone on in 2020 or as a lupus, someone living with lupus, anything that you've gone through during your journey with lupus, that if you allow it to, it'll change you for the better. And it'll make you, it just makes you that much stronger. If I look at it, I'm a much stronger person after everything that I've been through than I would have been had I not gone through that.
So I think the first step of gratitude is just recognizing that you need it in your life. You know, and for many people, it could be difficult just to kind of get on that, you know, gratitude, positivity vibe. And some people might be stuck in some sort of rut that they just can't find to dig themselves out, which is why we're here today to kind of spread this message of saying it takes time. You know, you've shared with us, you've been a lupus patient for 20 years. You have been through a roller coaster of things that have happened to you, and it took time to get here. It wasn't always like it is today. You know, you had to fall in love again with your husband. You know, those are big things to say. And I don't think, you know, we shouldn't say that this is an easy process to do. It takes time and it takes steps. And I know I'm circling back to the Lupus magazine that we just put out, but we just did an article about just how to reset your mind and having a mantra there. So if negative thoughts kind of flood in, emotions flood in, recognize that you're having that negative thought and think to yourself, cancel, cancel, delete, delete. This negative thought has no room within me, and replace it with a thought of gratitude, exactly what you're saying. So I think it's great that we can connect all these things together. And, that's a great piece of advice, is just looking for the good in things. So thank you for sharing that, for sure. Lots of good stuff this morning. So, okay, I'm going to hit more again on the holidays. I don't know if you have special traditions you've done with your family. Mine's definitely going to be a lot different, and that's okay. We're taking this time to really focus in on our family and thinking of new ways to make traditions. But do you perhaps have any advice for any patients out there, people out there, of having a happy stay-at-home holiday? Any suggestions?
Yeah, I would say, every year, one of my traditions, even when you're allowed to gather, is I rewatch all of my favorite holiday movies. And starting probably the day after Thanksgiving, and my husband and I have already started. He actually initiated it, and he's not really that into the Christmas movies, but he knows I am. So that's one thing. But I think you need to find something that brings you joy and integrate that into the holidays. Something that and do something new. Everything doesn't always have to be the same. And it's, if you bring something in new, it can be super refreshing for you. And you might want to keep it around. You're not
starting a new tradition.
Yeah, start something new, and look at it like, I know there's a lot that we're going to, that we feel like we're missing out on, especially if you have huge extended families that can't get together. Do something, make a fun Zoom game where you all are Zooming each other from home and do some sort of a game. Even charades or there's different games like gestures or whatever. If you're into board games, and that would just be fun and uplifting. And that's something that you can do virtually and still connect with your family and laugh about it. But I think if you just start to open your mind up and look at it as an opportunity to grow and expand, you're going to find a lot
new
of
traditions. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, look at us. We're joining virtually. It would be nice for us to sit and chat with each other in person, but through these last couple of weeks, we've been connecting, and it's been by phone, by email, by this video chat. And so there are ways to still connect with one another, but be socially distanced.
Absolutely.
So definitely
have appreciation for the silence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Have gratitude for the silence that allows you to reconnect with yourself as a person that you wouldn't necessarily get in the craziness of the holiday season. We, in a typical scenario, we get wrapped up in shopping and running around and going, I have to get to this person's house and that person's house and a holiday party over there and over there. And now it's just level and silent, and we're not used to being still. Yeah. But sometimes, you find strength in stillness.
Well, sometimes also lupus might force us to be still, right? There is that. And I'm saying this because I want to reach back out to Rachel here. She is going through a tough time, and, I just want to send her our positive love right now. She's saying hi there, getting weekly blood transfusions while I get in to see a bone marrow specialist, but I'm trying to stay positive. And I think that's a good thing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for trying to stay positive through all this, because there is a period of uncertainty. And maybe during this holiday season or this pandemic, you might have to be in the hospital because things are going on. Yeah. But Rachel, we are here for you. That's why we're doing this post, is just to try to connect with patients that are out there looking for the positive. And that's what we're doing here for you. And, Tanya's been sharing with us her struggles, and she's gone through many things. And hopefully we can all connect together and just learn from one another. And so it sounds like getting weekly blood transfusions, trying to stay on top of it. Tanya, do you have any advice or anything for Rachel right now? Or what can we tell her right now to just let her know we care, we hear you, thank you for sharing. Anything you could give her?
Sure. Well, first of all, Rachel, thank you for joining us today and also being brave enough to just share that personal information with us. I know a lot of times it's hard to share those personal issues when you're going through it yourself. But from someone living with lupus, don't think of yourself as a patient. That always has helped me. Think of yourself as this is what you're going in, giving yourself what your body needs at that time. Just like you have to eat to kind of survive, and we don't look at that negatively. But for some reason, society's conditioned us to look at certain things negatively. You're living with lupus, that's part of you. This is just part of what you need to do to survive, and that's okay. And that's going to get you better, and that's going to make you stronger. And I think focusing on staying positive is definitely really helpful. I don't know if you like to read. There's many books that help with mindset, positive mindset. Audible, that's big time for me. Every time I walk my dog, I listen to Audible podcasts. There's some really, really good, uplifting, positive podcasts. But my biggest suggestion to you would be to constantly feed your mind positivity. If there's something that's coming in, negative vibes or negative stuff that you're seeing on social media or the TV or whatever it might be, they have a red button for a reason. You can use it, just shut it off and refocus, because your body will absorb that energy. So surround yourself with things, people, activities that support you and give you what you need. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to give your body what you need.
And she is responding. She's given us hearts, and thank you. Appreciate the love and support. And, Rachel, it's really one step at a time. And unfortunately with lupus, many times it's never just lupus, right? We have multiple things going on, or patients, excuse me. I always talk about we inclusively, but what I mean is patients have things going on, and it's one step at a time. And going back to what Tanya said in the beginning, it is our physicians that we have to build this, good relationship with, and knowing that we're in right hands and being able to talk with your doctors, open, honest, and communicate. And a way to do that and just making sure you're in the best space possible is coming to groups like our support groups, calling our patient navigators, and just bouncing those thoughts and ideas off of these people so that we know, maybe something doesn't sound right there, right? Coming from another patient, or, yeah, you're on the right track. We know something's going on with the red blood cell count possibly, which is why you need weekly transfusions, and that's something that is a check in the right direction. We know that you need this right now. So, my message to you is continue to stay strong. Listen to your inner voice, and if your inner voice is getting negative, trying to stay positive, just know that Tanya is here to let you know you're not alone. And she understands, and there's other patients too out there that understands. And we support you, Rachel Mara. If you need anything, contact us. And I know you're a great supporter of the Lupus Foundation, and I know you're always with us. So reach out if you ever need anything. We are thinking of you. So this holiday season is definitely a different one. We're thinking of new ways of engaging with patients. Tanya, you mentioned about podcasts. The chapter's starting a new podcast. We're looking for people to interview. We're trying to keep it with patients, and maybe a positive outlook is what we need to talk about on the next podcast. I'm sure Suzanne would love to have you in as a guest and maybe record something positive out there. I know I want to get back with you and talk about range of motion, because I think it's important to move. And again, I'm not talking about a marathon or anything like that, but just light stretching and things to get our body in motion. So we definitely want to hear more from you for sure. And I think other patients do too. And so we have being able to communicate with your doctor openly is important. Certainly is, Amber. So thank you for sharing that for sure.
If you don't have that, if you don't have a good relationship with your doctor where you feel like you can be open and honest and you can share, and they're going to communicate back to you, and if you leave the office feeling uncomfortable, that's a sign that that's not the doctor for you.
Mm-hmm. And what do you do with those emotions? If that does happen to you, reach out to the Lupus Foundation. Let's talk about it. If you don't have a family member or someone that you want to talk to in confidence, you can contact the office and just let us know your thoughts. And so as the lead patient navigator for our chapter, I spend a lot of time talking with patients. We have patient navigators throughout the state that you could connect with. And perhaps it's just bouncing what just happened at that appointment type of thing. And maybe vocalizing and sharing your feelings with someone external to the situation that just happened might be able to help you just think clearly as to what the next step is. And sometimes a little pivot in direction or nudge in the right direction can help you just find, the big R, remission. We would love if every patient could find it. And it's not an easy task to do. And I think maybe people don't believe in remission, but finding the right physician, the right course of treatment, the right physical activity, the right diet, all of those things all come into play into finding some sort of normalcy back in your life. And so that should be goal for every lupus patient, right?
Yeah, and I do want to say, you mentioned a lot of people don't believe in remission. It is possible. With everything that I've been through, I haven't had a huge flare-up in almost 5 years.
Wow.
By changing my diet, making sure I have a good team that I trust, treating lupus as part of my everyday life, just like you have to wake up and go through your morning routine. It's just part of you. Knowing that, if I'm going out tonight with, friends or whatever, I might need to take a nap where other people don't have to, and being okay with that because that's what your body needs. But the big R is feasible and people can get there.
Well, I know in our new patient education class, I usually start open with, remission is key for every lupus patient. That is your goal. That is your goal to find it. And if you can kind of keep that goal in front of your mind every time you're experiencing something, it just takes time to find out how to get there. Finding the right doctors, surrounding yourself with people like us that want to just see you do well and give you the tricks that have worked for you and tricks that have worked for other people and treatments that have worked for other people and just how to find that. So that's pretty big. So I just wanted, anyone looking out there to contact the Lupus Foundation, you can email, you can call us. I have a feeling, Tanya, we're building this awesome friendship relationship that we want to just continue to help people. You had so many great ideas. I appreciate you sharing your experience, your knowledge. I'm grateful for your gratitude and coming together here and just sharing with us. And, it's just wonderful to know that patients want to help patients.
Yeah. And thank you so much for reaching out and giving me the opportunity to be a part of this. I just would like to say to everybody out there living with lupus, don't be afraid to ask for help. The Lupus Foundation of America Greater Cleveland chapter is extremely, they're extremely motivated to help people. And that's one thing that I love about them. That's why anything that I can do to help, I will offer my services because they're willing to go above and beyond. So don't feel like you're alone. There's always somebody there that you can reach out to with the Lupus Foundation.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for saying that. And definitely, we will surround ourselves with positive, uplifting people that will help you. So any patients out there needing to chat or just share some ideas, reach out to us. Comment on our Facebook, call the office, email us, whatever you can. However you can reach out, we're there for you. And Suzanne's saying here, wishing you continued success in your lupus journey. You are an inspiration.
I appreciate that.
So thank you, Tanya. This was fun for me. It definitely uplifted my spirits, and I hope that uplifted other people. And, you know, anyone that was listening, I think they might have needed to hear it this morning. And so we'll continue to be that uplifting person. And I guess I'll say I'll talk to you later. Okay. So thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. And everybody out there, have a happy holidays, very blessed holidays. And I wish everybody the best of health during the holidays as well.
Yes. Happy holidays, everyone. And wishing best of health this 2021 season. So we'll be seeing you guys soon. So happy holidays. Thanks, everyone.